nervous that I'll press the wrong button and accidentally send myself to title screen. I have no idea how far I'm in the chapter I am. Bioweapon Research Assigned D, the capital Whitewood. Let's have a look at the data log. Events. Chapter 5. No rolls. Yes, that was apparently a plot point. The 13 days, day 2, opposition. Snow was overjoyed to meet the older sister of his beloved Sarah, but Lightning was far from impressed. She had never had approved of him or his group's unsanctioned activities. I'm going to skip that. We all know this. The Lindblom. Oh, Bloom. I don't know how you pronounce that word. Thank you, screams. Due to the expansive area it patrols and the need for mobility, the Wide Area Response Brigade has no fixed base. The Lindblom is the command ship of the brigade, and it serves as both home and headquarters for its soldiers. It's heavily armed and armored for Guardian Corps craft, but it's easily outclassed by the anti-pulse gunships built for the main SciComm fleet. It's a big ship. We'll check the inventory.
A lot of feral creatures here too. They're a little different from the military breeds. This is an army facility for turning wildlife into weapons.
Awesome.
Aliens aren't allowed in here, are they?
We'll have to be sure and tell them if we see any.
So these were the creatures that originally looked like. These open-air pens, designed to restrain experimental bioweapons, are equipped with electromagnetic containment fences linked to a site-wide biorhythmic monitoring system. Fences deactivate automatically when biorhythms, known for high-risk species, are no longer detected within their proximity. I gotta kill this. You gotta kill the monsters, or we won't let you through otherwise. What about this doggo? It's a silver lobo. The best type of lobo. I know you from Final Fantasy VI. Do some dual casting. And staggered. Fire are cool. I was genuinely excited to have a next level spell. We should scan the Lobo. Scan the Lobo. No, I'll scan the next Lobo. It's fine. More like, no, Bo, you. No, you, Bo, don't get to scan yet.
These fences are for containing the animals. We take care of our pet mates. They should power down.
Well, I'm gonna write them a letter because we're about to become pen pals. Where are you, pen pals? Stop moving so I can attack you.
I can do this.
Okay, auto chain. Lots of fire. It's weak to fire. Right, then I want to use the big fire. Fire, please. Yeah, big fire. Ooh, I'm poisoned. Don't appreciate that.
Would this work better, Light?
Quickly, quickly, quickly. There we go. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. We're fine. There we go. Dead Lobos. More like Nomos, because I don't want to be pen pals with them no mo. Let's put some shields on. Oh, I'm a little nervous.
How about this, Light?
Oh, yes, I shall explain. So instead of so in a traditional Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, possibly 11, I'm not sure. You would, for every character you add in your team, select individual commands. It might be fire, it might be shell, these, but what you'd end up doing a lot of the times is you'd set up characters for a particular role. So, Aeris in Final Fantasy VII is good at healing people. So you'd give her the cure command and maybe a command to bring people back to life, stuff like that. Whereas you'd have like Cloud has the most strength. So you're going to have him, you don't want him wasting his time using spells, because his physical attacks are going to take 1,000 every turn. So, and for the same reason, you don't want him buffing, you don't want him putting strength up, down, because I never want him to stop attacking, because that's the quickest way, the most efficient way to do that. So this game says, well, if you're going to play the game like that, instead of you being able to individually choose spells, we're going to let you change the behavior of the characters. So, if we look at our paradigms. So, let's say, for right now, Ravager and Commando, they attack. That's all they do, they attack. If you're a medic, if I switch paradigm to medic and Ravager right there, then she's going to just continue attacking, whereas now I get the ability to heal people. And I don't get to heal unless I'm in medic mode. If I go back to slash and burn, I can only do attacks again. What a synergist does is it will either, I think it puts buffs on. So he puts, well, when he's in synergist mode, he will put on protect, so their damage does less damage to us, or their spells, which with shell, their spells do less damage to us. This game also has a thing called Ravager Commando. Yeah. The other gimmick this game has is that enemies have a lot of health and enemies have a lot of defense. Sorry, so you have to chip away at them, but they have a stagger. They can get like staggered, and so there's what you do is with your Ravager. Ravagers put their stagger bar up quickly, but it also falls down quickly, whereas a Commando makes the bar fall down slower. So it sort of glues their stagger bar into position. So the idea is to quickly get the stagger up, keep it in position while your turns are turning, and get them staggered. And then when they're staggered, you can do loads of damage to them and you make everyone a Ravager. So there's that as well. So you're constantly switching roles instead of switching abilities. This is why this game has auto attack, because you don't really have time to consider the individual attacks. So these are weak against fire, and the game already knows that. So if I go into here, it's going to select 3 fires because it already knows they're weak against fire. So right now, she's a Commando, but if I go to dual casting, it'll go up much faster. So yeah, it's a really interesting idea. I can see why they went with it. They wanted something that didn't look turn-based. It still is turn-based, but it looks less turn-based. So you can see the stagger bar's really high. Oh, and she can knock shit up in the air now, which is really cool. That's an ability she has. So the other thing is each role has different spells and stuff they can use. But like they have different trees that you have to unlock all the stuff as well. So because she needs healing, I'm just going to put him in healing mode. I don't really have to consider where he's healing, because the game's going to know to heal the person who took the most damage. So they've gone, okay, you're always going to heal a hurt person. So if you put him in medic, even if you're controlling the character, if you just auto heal, he's going to heal the person who obviously needs healing. In the same way that in Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy I, if you used a Phoenix down, it would go, right, who do you want a Phoenix down? But in Final Fantasy VIII, if you used a Phoenix down, it goes, oh, you probably want a Phoenix down that dead person. Now, it doesn't automatically use it, but it does automatically select the dead person, because who else are you going to use Phoenix down on? The enemy, yeah, sometimes, because if it's an undead enemy, Phoenix down can kill them outright, but generally, you're going to use it on the dead person. So they've always been, like, trying to figure out, like, what doesn't the player need to do? Like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, yeah. Oh, hello, Kavika. Like, with Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy Remake, they use the MMO system of, like, well, why do you ever need to attack? Why do you press a button to attack? Surely you're going to be constantly attacking anyway. That's like, if you're going to press it all the time, why not just have them attack unless they do something else? Which is sort of how MMOs work as well. But yeah, the problem with the system, and I don't think it's a problem, but it is like, even though in all the earlier games you could say, well, you can fast forward and just attack your way through monsters. The interesting battle is always the boss fights in these games, in those earlier games, where now they mix up the fights a little, but you are also doing the same thing a lot. In the same way as Persona figured out that, like, the real game is figuring out everyone's weaknesses, and once you do that, like, it's always gonna select the correct spells. It sort of had a similar evolution in that way, where they're just, and then the puzzle becomes find out the weakness, where because in Persona doesn't have a button that just automatically does that. You only find out once you use all the spells. So every fight in Persona becomes that. Like, once you get down the rhythm, every fight sort of becomes similar. You're doing more complex stuff, but you're doing the same complex series of actions, which, like, the thing about RPGs is sometimes they get quite simple and quite grindy, but if you can gonna get into a flow state where you're just playing it, you know, people find it really relaxing. And so the more stuff you've got to do that feels arbitrary, i.e. I'm fighting a random monster, why am I exerting this much mental effort for just some random cat I fought 100 times, then it feels a tiny bit like busy work. Now, I'm not having too bad of a time there, but like, mainly because I'm talking to people, but when I'm doing this for 2 hours by myself, and it's like, I've done this fight already, but yeah, it can become like that. But like, that's the problem with RPGs in general. It's a really interesting system. I don't know if it always works, but I really like that they tried something weird like this. And it is weird. And I will always like a weird system better than a generic one. And yeah, I guess the turn-based stuff, it did become generic, so. But I do like. But like, turn-based isn't generic in the wider context of other computer games. Especially now no one makes them anymore. Like this particular fight here, there's more enemies on the screen, so I now have to consider healing. But also these particular enemies, they stagger so easily and have so little health. But I don't actually need to do anything but slash and burn. And I don't really have to consider the spells. The only thing I'm considering is occasionally healing. Yeah, it's my favourite thing about Final Fantasy is they do reinvent themselves every time. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't sad that Final Fantasy XVI is not going to have a traditional party.
Just another battle.
That you're one guy. You're just Clive. He does have an AI party. According to what I've read, he has an AI party. And maybe if I get to control their behaviour pre-fight, you know, maybe that'll make me feel better. Maybe they get a tree or something. You know, but like, you know, God of War, like, you didn't get the control boy, but you got to upgrade his tree. But, you know, God of War also isn't a JRPG. But, you know, and everything has RPG elements in it nowadays. Cocoon Society. Woodlands Observation Battalion. This unit is a part of the Guardian Corps, but unlike the Bodum Security Regiment, the Woodlands Observation Battalion patrols non-residential areas. Its main duty is to prevent wild creatures from encroaching on suburban districts. The battalion also provides the bulk of the security personnel for the Gapra Whitewood bioweapon research facility, despite the facility's status as a SciComm-run initiative. No, it's not just boys. This is what everyone knows him as. He calls him Boy a lot in the game. He's got multiple names. I've forgotten one of them, and I can't say the other. But yes, some call that game Dad of Boy rather than God of War. What was I going to say? So, context to when this game came out, like, PlayStation 3 exists. They're going to be able to make a Final Fantasy, but it's going to be on PlayStation 3 graphics rather than PlayStation 2 graphics. And then they made a game that didn't feel like a Final Fantasy to me, so I was super disappointed at the time. I had this conversation with Heisen before, where it's graphics isn't everything, but I still really, really wanted a Final Fantasy just with fancy graphics. And the fancier the graphics get, the less willing they are to make a Final Fantasy game. And I understand, I think I've read an interview somewhere that says, it just becomes really weird if you have, hyper-realistic graphics, but then they're standing around taking turns fighting. It's but does it, though? It's just a computer game. It's like an abstraction. It's fine being weird. Let it be weird. But, which is why in Final Fantasy VII, it never pauses. It just goes really, really slow. Because they're like, no, we never stop the action, technically speaking. You're always in slow motion, even when you pause. Okay. Ideally, what you'd want in an RPG such as this is you'd want every single encounter to be subtly different. And they probably are doing that. It's quite hard. Why am I putting Barfire on? Yeah, because it probably takes quite a lot of tech for that to do that. And they introduce one cat, and then you get two cats, and then you get one cat and a robot. And presumably you'd mentally go, well, yeah, they work differently, don't they? And the fights with the robots did do that. Because you had to stagger them. They had way too much health otherwise. But a lot of these enemies are like, I can kill you quite quickly. I'm not really considering what I should do that efficiently.
How about this, light?
Yeah. And then, of course, once you get to the boss, a boss should be you, I've learned these lessons, I'm going to apply the lessons I've learned to the boss. That's how a RPG boss should feel. I've got all these abilities, now I'm being tested on how well I know how to use these abilities. Yeah. I really liked all the Yuffie stuff in that game. I've opened that already. The Yuffie expansion felt like they were testing out ideas. Mainly, I'm just massively glad that it wasn't Final Fantasy 15. Because I was not keen on... I've never finished Final Fantasy 15. And as soon as they said it was going to be an action system, I was so afraid. I don't want it, but yeah, no, I really like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think they managed to convince me it was worth doing differently. I'm quite willing to, you know, to play the new stuff. I mean, I will anyway. After all, sorry, I shouldn't.
Ready for the next fight.
After all, you know, it is my ambition. You know, my ambition of completing all the Final Fantasy games, even the weird side games that probably don't count. Apart from like the 11th one or possibly Crystal Chronicles. Pretty sure some of these games would be impossible. Be a bit headache extreme. I'll see how I feel about them when I get to those particular games, I guess. Should have pressed it when there were 7 people here. Look at all these snails. Whatever. Slugs. Gastropods.
Just block out everything else.
Is a leech a gastropod? Okay, I think, yeah. Supposed to sneak up on these. Amazing. Oh, I should have been on dual cast. Yeah, her knocking shit up in the air is great. I'm glad she has that. They kind of look like monsters from Final Fantasy X that have been reskinned. That flake off sin. I wish I didn't say the word flake.
How about this light?
Ah, no, they stagger really easily, but you do need to stagger them. Oh, no you don't. They still have no health. 5 stars. Quick! Yeah! Level 2. So yeah, when the Crystariums, your only choices are, which one of these am I gonna do? I guess I'll do this one. No, I can't. I guess I'll do this one then. And occasionally they branch out. There we go, we've got fire. She not have fire? That's funny. And that roll level won't increase until we reach the next chapter, because the game does not want me over leveling. Yes. So this is vanilla and nutmeg, caffeine-free tea. Milk tea. Don't show the inside of the cup, John. It's gross. I mean, it's a beautiful, clean, the whitest cup you've ever seen. Yes. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did this because they could have just done Final Fantasy X, right? This, you could have fit all 3 of these on the screen so I could see everything at once. But if I could see everything at once, I'd be able to see that I have basically no choice. And that I'm only ever really choosing between these 3. Like in 10, there's this complex net that you can jump on, you know, you can, it's because there's the expert version, but even the simple version, there's, you know, that you can see all the way, the entire span of the game, your upgrade systems, and you can jump to a different line if you want to, and there's things you can do, but with Crystarium, it's like, you've got to click inside to look at the actual things to see what you're getting. And it's like, well, it's not like I'm really making any decisions. I'm either going down there or I'm going down one of the other 2 or one of the other 5 once you get to like 50 hours in the game. I do like how Final Fantasy VII did the weapons though. It was a kind of a weird mix. I appreciate... there's a dude I love watching. He's like one of my favorite YouTube personalities. Hello. He's... oh, God. Tim Rogers. He has like a 3-hour review of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And one of his points he makes is they're just terrible at menus. They're just not great at menus at all. And like Final Fantasy VII's remakes is like, look how much shiny stuff. And it's like 3 hours is small. The other day because he used to design games for like actual companies, not like the way my brother made a game. He used it. I'm not going to explain Tim Rogers' law. What's great, my favourite Tim Rogers thing is if you're into Tim Rogers, you'll go back and watch all of the Tim Rogers stuff, because that's what you do when you get into somebody, right? But you can. So he made. Not only did he used to work for like big companies, he has his own games he's made, and he tried to design the ultimate sports game, and he did this TED talk. Not a TED talk. He did a computer version of a TED talk, where he explained all the rules of how you'd make the perfect sports game. And at the end of that talk, he sort of explains how they're going to take an extra year because of the way the features didn't work. In that extra year, that car football game came out that basically embodied his version of a perfect sports game. And it was horribly unlucky. And they shouldn't have taken the extra year. But the thing about those videos, because they did two, are like a post-mortem on the game that never sold anything. Rocket League, thank you. But the thing about those videos is, if you watch them and read the comments, a load of the comments are like, this guy's really funny. This guy should just be a comedian. And it's like, I've got some good news for you, somebody from 7 years ago in the comments. He makes videos now. And what's great is I found other future people going, yeah, high five. Like, who are on the same, like, Tim Rogers past quest than I'm on, who have come to the same conclusion. But yeah, here's a good way to sum up Tim Rogers. Did I go backwards again? He does a review of Pac-Man, and I think this review is like 4 hours long. The first half an hour, the first 20 minutes of his Pac-Man review is he mentions why he made a Pac-Man review. And the reason he made a Pac-Man review is because of a phrase he said. Am I going there? He said, games have gone... during a review of the newest Doom game, I think, or something, games have come a long way since Pac-Man. So at the start of his Pac-Man review, he tracks down every single real news publication that used the phrase, games have come a long way since Pac-Man. And this takes like 20 minutes. And the thing about Tim Rogers is he will say, like, whenever he says the name of a game, he will always say its full name. And like, he's incredibly fastidious. The other thing is he doesn't forget conversations. He's got a condition. I've forgotten what it's called. It's not an eidetic memory. He has a condition where he cannot forget conversations. So, like, while he reviews games, he sometimes, like, goes back to a conversation he had as a 7-year-old. And they're all fascinating and quite sad. And, like, it's quite... They can be quite melancholy sometimes. And I if you... Yeah. I'm a massive fan of Tim Rogers. Like, he can recall, like, because he's interviewed the dude that made Hideo Kojima, made Metal Gear Solid, and he just, like, because he understands Japanese, he used to work in Japan, but he can recall, like, the entire conversation. But he's also sort of weird, in a way that I appreciate a lot. So he does a review of Cyberpunk. He announced he was going to do a review of Cyberpunk way before Cyberpunk came out. It's 6 hours long. In the start of the review, he tells you he had to cut it down. It was 2 weeks. It took him 2 weeks to upload the review. Is it 10 hours or is it 6 hours? I'm trying to think of which one I'm thinking of. Let's say it's 6 hours. He had to cut it up. He really didn't want to because it's all in 4K. And he just, like, he's, again, quite fastidious. And just YouTube refused to upload a 6-hour 4K video. He at the start of the review he explains, it's not it's not a one review, it's 6 reviews from, like, he's reviewing it as a book, he's reviewing it as a game. He's done this before. And you don't have to watch all the reviews because you're intimidated by a 6-hour video. You should choose, after this introduction video, you choose 2. He's made it a game. And at the end, and of course I watched them all. I wasn't going to just watch 2 of them. I was watching the entire goddamn thing, and at the end it's like, I know you watched them all. Like, the only reason he did it is because he knows people will get intimidated by really, really long videos. But he was going to use the chapters to do it. Cutting them up into different videos basically guarantees they all get watched less. It's just how YouTube works now. But that's not even the point I was trying to make. During his Cyberpunk review, I already knew this about him because he brings it up in different reviews. But he owns he loves his expensive coats, and not like arbitrarily expensive, like hard to get. He has a William Gibson bomber jacket. William Gibson, writer of Neuromancer, has like bomber jackets that he designed and sold, and you can buy replicas, but like he has an authentic one. And during his Cyberpunk review, he just spends 20 minutes reviewing this goddamn bomber jacket because it's important. It's important historically because Cyberpunk comes from but it's got a history going back to Neuromancer, and the point he's trying to make in the video is about authenticity, and this is the real. This is not just like a military thing with it's the real one where it's sewn in properly because that's how they're made in those days. And it's fascinating, but at the same time, I'm like, I really don't give a shit about a bomber jacket. Like, I understand the core point he's making, and I love the videos, but like, I'm never, ever, ever, ever gonna spend £300 on £600 on a bomber jacket, ever. Like, ignoring the fact that I don't buy bomber jackets, but you get the point. Like he talks about, like, you can't buy the glasses John Lennon wore because the company doesn't stop selling them when he died, because like they were like iconic glasses, but then you could get them for a 2-week period, and it's the sort of same thing with these bomber jackets. But he was like reviewing Cyberpunk under the idea of authenticity from that level of like, what is authenticity? Because the other thing which I enjoy is I'm glad he's not the. I played Cyberpunk when it came out. I am about to die. And it has like missions where you work for the police in that game, and I'm like, what sort of Cyberpunk works for the police? I'm not working for the police. Fuck. Yeah, he is.
Would this work better, like?
A lot of people bloody hate him. They think he's smug as fuck. They think he's a poser. And he's not as smart as and he's only pretending to remember shit. But like, the way he describes it, yeah. And so like he did every single quest in that game apart from those quests, because turn to, I'm not working for the goddamn police. He only did the ones that you have to finish the game of those quests. But like he does talk about, like, you know, Cyberpunk. What does Cyberpunk even mean? Because punk is in that word, and that means something. And you know, it's made by this giant company, right? Which was, you know, once upon a time one of the smaller people, but no, it certainly isn't anymore. But yeah, like it's a 6-hour review. He has to cover goddamn everything, right? Like, the whole point is for him to just cover everything, so if he didn't mention it, in his eyes, it'd be a bad review. But anyway, yes. But they're not for everyone, and I appreciate that. But if you want the other end of the scale, there is a guy called Noah Gervais. And Noah Gervais is a beautiful poet man who will say a line in every single goddamn review that'll just make me pause and go, that's an amazing line. What a, oh my word. How, he's just, I've shown Luke, my brother, both of them, and he doesn't like Noah Gervais as much as Tim Rogers. Noah Gervais also makes 5-hour reviews, but like, he made a 6-hour video of every single Resident Evil game. But like, The difference is the Noah Gervais is reading off a teleprompter. I can hear him clicking the next page button. And he just uses game footage. You never see his face unless it's at the start or the end. He shows a little piece of paper with the writing. Like, he's a dude that drives around America and is in his Patreon. He gets money to do that because that's clearly another thing he loves doing. Like, he's very different from Tim Rogers. None of his reviews are in 4K, I can tell you. Like, and, you know, I wouldn't want him to spend the extra effort. I'm glad he did get a better microphone, but like,
Maybe we should try something else.
I appreciate the entirely, completely different angle that he comes from. With reviewers, I don't have to agree with you. You just have to do a good case. Be interesting to listen to. You can say anything you like, to a point. Yeah, I'm certainly not streaming at 4K. Blimey. I play games in 4K, but I don't. I stream. I think it's 720. Yeah, I figure that most people can't. Like, because it delayed him by 20 days, everyone was like, "Oh, are you doing a thing? Because Cyberpunk was delayed. Are you purposely delaying your own thing?" And the thing about Tim Rogers is, we know he lies. Like, his last 3 videos, he said, "Oh, yeah, I made this one like 3 hours. Don't expect the next one to be 3 hours. That was a one-off." And then the next one's 4 hours, and then he says the same thing, and then the next one's 5 hours, and then he revealed at during the Cyberpunk review, "Yeah, I was purposely lying. I was doing a thing." And what I love about that is he shows a clip of him talking about getting his hair cut from Kotaku, where he mentions like he's doing his own ARG thing. Just for like people who notice, and like I saw the Kotaku thing where he talks about getting his haircut. Yeah, he used to be the only person worth reading going to Kotaku. I don't go to Kotaku anymore. In this, because you in the same way that guy who does reviews, I can't remember, was it Game Rant or something like that? And there's only one person worth listening to there. But yeah. Yeah, the story of when he quit Kotaku was he got foot when Keanu Reeves did the thing where Keanu Reeves somebody goes, "We love you, Keanu," and he goes, "No, I love you," and everyone clipped that and immediately put it on the internet. And he knew to do that, but he was in a fucking hotel next to the building, and he got beaten by somebody in a place of internet, and then he had to have a conversation with the executives, which was like, "Yes, we need more videos like these," and he's like, "No, he has his favorite videos, and they're not the ones that do numbers." Which is why he did a Patreon, and that's why, very similar story to Brian in that way. Also, because he's basically blind, he wears shades all the time. And an executive, I think, basically said, "Cool shades." It's like, "Yeah, I've told you why I wear shades, and you've clearly forgotten." And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back there. It's not. It's less that he's blind. It's more that everything hurts his eyes. Anyway, I'm getting into sort of personal details. It's always difficult to know what to talk about when it's a public figure, and these things are out in the open. I hope I'm going forwards. I don't actually follow his Patreon because it's quite expensive, and of course you get everything eventually anyway. But if I had more money, I definitely would. There's about 20 people I would follow if I had the money. But yeah, I appreciate Patreon exists because YouTube is no way to make a living. Oh, YouTube's never checking this video. Why does it feel like I've gone backwards? I've not. It's just it's starting to look a bit samey. Yeah, the danger of me talking incessantly, which I think is the point of Twitch, right? Isn't that I'll die in battle. I'm unlikely to. It's that I'll accidentally get turned around. Also, my cup of tea needs drinking. And there's a nice rhythm right now to how the actual game works.
Maybe we should try something else. Way to go.
But right now, it's partly because I have people to talk to, and I can sort of use half my brain to talk.
Would this work better, like?
And then I'm just using, you know, flow state to play the game. Until it gets the more difficult fights. But there can't always be people watching. I did let her die though, so.
Would this work better, like? Amazing.
I might want to buy some antidotes.
How about this, like? Maybe we should try something else.
Yeah, in real life, if I was playing this and not streaming it, I'd have a TV program on the background.
Would this work better, like?
And I do have the technology to do that because I figured out a way of having it so the sound wouldn't turn up. But it wouldn't be very good to watch back. Right, put the painting away. I remember showing my father, some art from the internet. I was like, look, Dad, the internet does art as well. And he was just like, it's all flat. Because he painted oils. So he's like, it doesn't count. It's different, so I don't like it.
Maybe we should try something else.
I remember once showing him Guitar Hero, and his first comment was just like, why don't you play, you know, this game but on a real guitar? And he'd be like, because that'd be absurdly hard. And then somebody actually made that game. And I tried showing him that, but the game broke and I couldn't show it to him. But I was like, oh, it totally does the thing though. Oh yes, they're making a new one of those games, but it's Ubisoft, so I can never play it. Also, they're making it like a not pay as you go, you know, like a games as service thing? How? Like a music game teacher thing? I don't even know how that would work, but like, yeah. I think it's one of them. It's one of the companies I don't touch. I mean, Square arguably is a large company that does dodgy stuff. It's definitely doing blockchain shit. Oh yeah, I forgot. Square sold Lara Croft. That was a stupid thing to do. Why would you do that, Squaresoft? They did it so they could get into NFTs. That's the dumbest thing Squaresoft ever done. And they lost loads of money making a movie in the 2000s. And had to merge with Enix. And I still think, you know, there was at least something cool behind that idea. Okay, the last 2 hours I've been on these hexagonal platforms, haven't I? Like, yeah, that was really stupid. Did I just walk backwards? I can't tell. Have I may have just been going forwards and backwards. Why is... Okay, no, I legitimately did go backwards. I'm gonna run past... How many times have I gotten turned around? Have I just been going back and forth for like an hour? No, I'm at Site D. So there's been at least 4 rooms that look identical. Yeah, okay, you can see. I only just got turned around. I'll run past a couple of fights. They do. They've all... Okay, I'm going to run past... No, I think these are all new, but whatever. We're not penned in, are we? Don't run past you then. Fight you. I'm sorry, Slugs. You've done nothing wrong.
I can do this.
Quick!
Can't give up now.
There's a band called Embrace. I don't know how famous they are, but like they've had a couple. I'm not into this band, but it's. I was reminded, so I'll talk. The thing I have against this band is their most famous song was written by the dude from Coldplay, and like, and this isn't me, doing the thing where you bag on Coldplay, people, people like Coldplay and voted for the Nazis. You can't trust people. But like, imagine being a band and your most famous song was written by Chris Martin. Like, surely that would weigh on your mind. Oh, I've got some antidotes. And that is all I've got to say about Embrace.
That's it, Hope.
I would very much like... So, that's a quote from... I've forgotten what the program's called now. Oh, I'll wait until you get back and try and remember the quote. TV program. What's it called? Fight these slugs and consider it. Hello, Lobo.
Maybe we should try something else.
I'm playing with fire now. Peep show, that's what it's called.
Would this work better, like?
I don't think this slug's going to kill me, but I probably should heal just in case. Oh, 3 stars. There is an arrow pointing. I've just noticed the arrow pointing where forwards is.
Caged in like the animals.
Oh, it's a flesh and blood behemoth. Oh, hello, Eisen. Embrace. There's a band called Embrace, and their most famous song was written by Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Would this work better, like?
Oh, sorry. Most famous song was never released. How would you know about it, though?
Here.
My band, the most famous song was never released.
Come on, like. How about this, like?
Also, hello, Eisen. Love launch. That's cool. That I did not know.
We've tripped the security alarm. The observation battalion will be coming.
How long afterwards was that released, though? Welcome back. So it occurs to me there's a big arrow at the top of my radar that tells me where I'm supposed to go.
You can handle a climb like this.
More slugs. What?
Can't give up now.
Oh, slugs done me in.
I'm sorry. I can't do this.
So, one thing I did learn. That makes sense. One thing I did learn playing through all the old Final Fantasies is that Final Fantasy Mystic Quest had this retry button. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was 20 years ahead of its time. No reason why you can't have a retry button in an RPG. Was it done against their permission? Yeah, because the whole point of Mystic Quest was to try and get people into RPGs that, well, the West. They didn't think the West would get into RPGs, so they made a quote-unquote easy one.
Here.
Good call.
Maybe we should try something else.
Just killed it while I wasn't looking. So in my head, I was like, yeah, I'll do a couple of hours of Final Fantasy, and then I'll do a couple of hours of Berseria, maybe a bit of Fall Guys afterwards. No, all night is going to be this one game.
Take 5.
That was me trying to do take 5.
What's eating you?
Giant slugs.
Okay, I can tell you're hung up on something. Is it the fal'Cie thing?
Is it?
Snow, isn't it?
Is it the government trying to kill you with guns thing? Are you hung up on that?
What happened with him?
You wouldn't understand.
You and I are partners, Hope.
My mother was killed because of him. It's his fault. And he needs to pay for it. I'm not ready yet, but I will be soon.
Maybe I should take that knife back.
That's why I followed you.
I'll secretly put a Lisa Trevor version in one of these days.
Snow dragged us all into this. You and me, your sister Sarah. He's gotta pay.
Oh, no, she's like, no, I think I'm going to be in charge now.
Take the lead.
Yeah. Doesn't actually functionally change any of the gameplay, but she's in charge now. I'd love a clip of Mums Are Tough, but it'd never get played. Although, if I make my game, I'll offer it as a potential prize. One thing I've kept to myself, but there's no real reason why I can't. Oh, you might have. I've not actually looked at your clips. That would make finding stuff a lot easier as well. Well, so I thought of like 2 quote-unquote prizes for the game. One, I will add a button that can be redeemed, so you can redeem.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
And the other idea was adding an entirely new button for me to press. Things that I've been meaning to do, but just haven't yet. Well, yeah, but Cloud's incredibly androgynous. I don't think they actually took Cloud's model, because Cloud's model is like a decade old, too old. But it would be Cloud's CG model from the tech demo, and yeah, I mean Cloud's quite androgynous as well. So I think they were subtly, but yeah. And it would be like either a prize for doing, but I had a third idea for a prize, but it won't make sense
You have to face your fear.
until
Then you can take on any.
you played it. Basically, what the dark room does is it's black. It's a dark room. It's a bloke sitting in a dark room. 4 options. So I can't have. Yeah, but like. All anime faces are like 80%, ignoring things like all humans are like 97% genetically similar. Like all anime faces kind of look the same, and like CG ones are no different. They want the characters to be pretty and human looking, and like the only real difference is how much you lean into anime or how much you lean into realistic faces. Same again. But yeah, I can't have a black screen where I just describe what's going on, which is a shame because that's how Zork works. And I know that. I'm guessing that nobody on stream knows what Zork is. In case you do know, I'm sorry, I'm going to explain what Zork is. If you don't know, Zork is a game that you have to type everything you do. It starts off writing on the screen. You are standing next to a house in a garden, and you type in "go north," and it says you go north. And then you type in "look around," and it says I don't know what "around" means. So you type in "look," and then it describes it. But yes, so Zork, and that like, they didn't do it as a gimmick. That was just what games looked like when Zork was made. They made Zorks with graphics, and I'd love for them to. Somebody owns Zork. I'd love for them to make a new Zork game. But like, just imagine. So you had to type everything out. Like things like Monkey Island having a series of buttons. That was like, my God, verbs. Who would have considered having a list of actual verbs to click? Which is why like Monkey Island with its scum system had 9, because it's like, oh, we need so many verbs, and it's only later where they're like, you need 1, you need a use action, and that's it, because then you can get jokes like in Sam and Max Hit the Road. If you try to use a person, Max will say, I don't indiscriminately use people except Max, because Max is a rabbit and you can use him on problems and things will happen because he's a psychotic bunny, and it's a good way of solving. Anyway, great joke. Maybe I'll play Sam and Max on stream one day. occasionally, because of oh, I get 4 buttons. It is different. Because I've been playing a lot of Tales of Berseria. Occasionally, I'll go into a fight and I'll try and press the right trigger to immediately jump into a giant monster arm attack, and then realize that this is not Tales of Berseria, and that's going to do nothing.
Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up.
Okay, I need to actually make sure.
Just another battle.
Also, fun fact, Monkey Island invented cutscenes. Now, it's not, they didn't have the very first cutscene, because the very first cutscene came from Pac-Man, as in Pac-Man goes on the screen, and it goes whoop, whoop, waka, 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 and then the ghosts run away. And that's a cutscene. That's the first ever cutscene. But the word cutscene was invented by LucasArts when they made Monkey Island, because they're like, well, we need to, you know, we need to have somebody do a thing on screen that's not player controlled. What's that called? And you know, they invented the word. That's where we get it from, Monkey Island. Where am I going? I'm going. Oh, the arrow points to it. Yeah. This is why I get angry at Disney. They keep doing Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, and I'm like, you own Monkey Island, Disney. Do stuff for Monkey Island.
Let's get this over with.
Though I do appreciate they let the original dude make another Monkey Island game, even if people have been harassing him on Twitter because they don't like the graphics. You are definitely allowed to. No one can ever stop you having a giant gorilla in their story. Nobody owns the concept of a giant gorilla. Don't call that Gorilla Kong, though. Call that because Donkey Kong did get sued.
Follow my lead.
Yeah, because he's clearly different as well. That's definitely not King Kong. It will eventually go on the internet, but I'm actually not going to upload these to YouTube for ages, because I'm uploading them in order, and I'm about 10 years away from this game.
That's how it's done.
But they will be sitting on my drive for ages. I might find it. The VOD might still be available. But yeah. Also, and I can't stress this enough, people have to, like, if you're not making money from it, nobody's ever going to notice it. But yes, you can definitely get away with having a giant monkey or gorilla.
So far, so good. Let's pick up the pace.
I've gone up this exact leaf as well. They could have done something. Like, the graphics are so good, but like, this entire place is every single floor. Yeah, a lot of things I say out loud sound better in my head. Every single floor has looked exactly the same. Couldn't have tinted it subtly different colours or something. I mean, it's extra work. I don't want to...
Could I use one of those?
You got your boomerang.
Bit too heavy for you.
Okay.
He's got his knife. Yeah, possibly shouldn't have given him the knife. Not sure what I was thinking there. Yeah, but you can do stuff for profit and not actually make profit.
So now you're gonna marry this idiot? And you think I'm gonna buy that? Full points for originality. But don't forget, if you really are a LaCie, it's my job to deal with you. Sis. This is ridiculous. Worst birthday ever.
Wait, Sarah! Why won't you believe her?
You kidding me? She gets made a LaCie and you pop the question?
Lightning, stop it!
No, you stop it! Get out of my house.
You're shutting her out! She's your sister! Fine. I'll do it. I'll protect her.
I've got a magic coat. Oh yeah, I checked the Fiverr website. They do have a section like if you buy something off them, like the copyright's automatic, just because that's how copyright works. Fiverr will never get involved in your disputes. They will not defend you, but nor will they ever, like, purposely go after you or anything.
How practical.
Oh, it was her birthday present.
To bring you an urgent Sanctum bulletin. Late last night, officials confirmed the presence of a pulse fal'Cie inside the city of Bodum. Acting with fal'Cie Eden's approval, authorities declared a state of emergency. The entire district will be quarantined in response to this crisis. This is a Sanctum bulletin. Late last night, officials confirmed the presence of a pulse fal'Cie inside the city of Bodum. Acting with
Sarah, I should have listened to you.
Right. You know that thing we literally just saw? Well, it happened. Also, you know the entire section of game that happened before that? That also happened. It's been a while since we had a look at this. More level. Do we have any more? Oh, we're not quite done yet. Yes, because wind doesn't behave itself. The bad dog. I didn't agree to this.
Follow my lead.
Ah, she said lead because they're dogs. And you put dogs on leads, don't you? Or leashes, I guess. Oh, she doesn't have fire.
Time to switch it up.
Here! Come on, Light!
Where did this slug come from? Oh, look. Technique.
Just hang on!
Oh yeah, I forget I can summon.
Odin.
Let's bring a giant monster dude in. Completely, I've been playing this for hours. I haven't used him once. But here's Odin.
Cut us a path!
Right, let's just go straight into Gestalt mode.
We do this together.
He's now a horse. We're now on a horse.
Let's ride!
I'm gonna Stormblade. Lightning Strike. That's cool because my name's Lightning. Thunder Gale.
Shake the ground.
Thunderfall. Zansetsuken. Go. No, why?
Storm is here!
There we go. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. But we're doing it now. We're doing the cool thing.
Until next time.
We didn't even kill the slugs. The fuck, Odin?
Thanks.
Oh, you can't use Quake because that's not your ability. I guess they're not weak to Odin, they're weak to fire. Or more slugs turned up. That's... well, no, we'll call it B. More slugs definitely didn't turn up. I got on a giant fucking magical horse and wasn't able to kill like 4 slugs. Probably should be use Odin more often though. Oh yeah, no, of course I wasn't using an Odin because I was the boy, and the boy doesn't have an Odin. So I didn't fucking sign up for slugs. Yeah. What's this thing? Hello, are you friendly? I don't think he's friendly. Right. But what if I summon... oh, no, you've got to get your technical points back. I completely forgotten how it works, to be honest. Right, we might have a boss soon, so I probably shouldn't randomly use it on a bunch of slugs. Disgusting. Also, I should have read the thing with the words. Oh, it's a barbed spec. Oh, we should use technique, shouldn't we? Libra. That's the last of my technical points. Now I have 0 technical points. But now we know to use fire, like basically everything else here. Right. I am going to just briefly read the wall of text. Yes. The alien thing. Yes. Yeah, you're not the only person who gets that. On the other way, on the other end of that scale, I occasionally just very much do not understand casually normal things. Ooh, the edged carbine. That sounds like it's for you. It is, but it's weaker because it's not been upgraded. But how am I supposed to know which one's worth doing stuff with? So many hexagons. Right, how do we get our technical points back? Because yeah, I'm gonna need them soon. Well, I'm sure I'll have enough fights.
Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up.
Yeah, actually, yes, that's what I was trying to get at. Occasionally, I will try to explain something, and the more effort I put into explaining, like the more effort I put into using the correct words, the less people understand me. And like, I know it's happening when it happens, and I just can't help myself.
Be ready for the next fight.
Oh, yes, it's 4th of July. Well, it's actually the 5th of July, I think I find. It is where I am, because it's 2:30 in the morning.
The wrong fight.
Your boss? I don't have a giant god horse right now. He only likes to pop in every so often.
We can win if we stay focused. Thanks. Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up. Good call.
Okay, I might want an extra one.
Keep up with me, Hope.
Synergy and medic. Okay, must be weak against water. He just needs pets. Look at him. He clearly just needs pets. But I have no button to pets him. Unless it's an incredibly aggressive pets, it's not quite the same. The best thing about being, I read some Reddit. I don't actively type stuff on there because that takes too much effort for me to do. But the best thing about being a British person on Reddit is any single conversation that happened 7 hours ago, and like somebody would be like, "Did you know? It turns out Switzerland was invented by a guy called Colin. He found it in his study. He was actually trying to make a cinnamon." And you're like, "I don't know, is that right?" And then somebody in the comments will go, "No, that's wrong." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you," this person in the comments. You know, and they'll like, if you're wrong loud enough, somebody will go, "No, here's a list of reasons why that's wrong." And you're like, so if you turn up late to every single conversation, hopefully you'll found the person will turn up to go, I don't think that's not how that works. On chapter 5. We might have enough money for shops. There's my edged carbine. Like, how do I know which weapon is good for, like... There's no rarity, like, in Tales of Berseria, so I can't tell which is an earlier weapon, which one's a later weapon. Yes, the thing about Reddit is you need to immediately take off the front page because it's awful. Only follow things that are like niche. Never follow anything that has more than 10,000 people in. And it, like, I don't know what the number is, but as soon as it hits like 50,000, it will be awful. So follow individual games and, you know, weird concepts. Never anything that's for everyone. Okay, where are we? We are going south. Save our game again, just in case. I appreciate Reddit because when I got into wrestling, I didn't know anyone else that watched wrestling, and that's a weird existence to be like, oh, I've got so many thoughts about Daniel Bryan, but just nobody to express them to. And you know, you can make that conversation happen with people, but they don't appreciate you. So, like, I was around when, you know, I eventually found, oh, there's a wrestling subreddit. But also, there was an exodus from that wrestling subreddit because that person took wrestling too seriously, and they all had to move to a second wrestling subreddit because internet drama.
Follow my lead.
Actually, I think for the behemoth, we're probably better off just staying slash and burn. I remember a thing with memes. They're like, oh, can we allow memes in wrestling? It's like, no, you can't have image macros in the wrestling subreddit, because what happens is it kills subreddits, because people will find the pictures and they'll quickly look at it and go, ha, quick tick up and move away, and that ruins engagement. You want a conversation, no memes, like you can't have, because any meme thing will attract quick traffic to the pictures, and you'll only have memes. Memes will take over, and you've come to, you know, you can put the meme in the conversation, but no conversations that are just the meme, because it will destroy the subreddit. You want to, yeah, because I want to talk about Daniel Bryan, I want to talk about the match I just watched, and that guy's an amazing wrestler, and then you do, but I found out, you know, yeah. So I was very passionate about that one particular rule. No. You want a meme, you make a separate meme wrestling subreddit. Thank you very much. Okay, are they still trapped where they are on the Crystarium? Ooh, no, we can have at least one more fight. Yeah, I think it's because, like, I've been playing for 5 hours. It's been very extended John talking time. It does require me to essentially play until 3 in the morning, which is probably not something I can continuously do. But it is something I'm going to do today, and I'm happy to do, because I just wanted to finish the chapter, to be honest. It just turns out chapters are quite long. I may not do that from now on, or at least it's just, yeah, the great wrestling. Because it was just like, this is the wrestling that counts, this is the wrestling that doesn't count, and I only want this. And it's like, yeah, but we want to talk about all wrestling. And what's funny is, of course, in wrestling subreddits, you get beefs. You can have, like, your wrestling's better than my wrestling. No, hang on, no one says that. My wrestling's better than your wrestling. And then they don't have a fight. They just argue on the internet. It gets toxic. But I mean, it'd be funny if that's, you know, because you'd said it you should settle it in a wrestling match, shouldn't you? So my work allows me to start my job at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I can cycle there in 30 minutes, because I specifically live in a place that allows me to do that. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't be playing in the morning. Let's not knock that slug into the sky. Also, I work on a computer and I sit down, so it's not something I can be tired, and it doesn't.
That wasn't so
it's not going to get me fired. I did not get 5 stars for that. Oh, hang on. What's missing? Why is she only level 1? Am I missing something? No, it's maxed. It's maxed out. Same with this. Where's your roll level for medic? So the other thing is I visit websites, but I never type on them. Why does it put me, like, I've bought everything, right? Is there legitimately, yeah, she just doesn't get medic part 2 yet. Right, so there's no point in me doing any fights. I need to do fights because my, I can't afford Odin right now. And I should probably, Oh god, there's probably something in that little section I want though. Stay away from me, monsters. I'm just here to check out my mask. Yes! Obviously, what the internet is amazing for is, much like wrestling in certain ways, is having, being in a niche, a smallish community, and actually finding there are people like you that actually do exist. Wrestling's not a great example, I grant you, but,
Nothing personal. Target's a target.
think of it less like broadcasting and think of it just like talking to people. Like Reddit, all Reddit is, hey, I found this neat thing on the internet, let's have a conversation about that. Reddit links to places. So you find a, like, if you find a YouTube video, oh, I died. You find a YouTube video, YouTube comments are awful because of the way YouTube orders its comments. So, like, they've gotten slightly better, but you'll get the comment on YouTube that says, 37 people are the people that dislike this video, and, you know, because the ratio will say 30. And, like, that comment's the top one for every single YouTube. But if you go to the Reddit comment section for that video, then it's going to be ordered by the votes. So you get to see the most insightful comments and stuff. So, like, I don't know how to use Twitter. I look at a feed, but I don't know how to follow conversations. Like, it took me ages to realize that, like, things are backwards on Twitter. Like, they go upside down. No, I want to get... Oh, fuck it. That's even worse.
Follow my lead, Hope.
Here, come on, Light.
That's even worse.
Stay down. Time to switch it up. Target's a target.
So I don't even know what Telegram is.
Keep up with me, Hope. Just hang on.
Here.
But I don't have conversations on social media. I just read them.
Follow my lead.
Let's put it this way. Let's say you want to play Tales of Berseria, and there's loads of DLC costumes, and you're like, wow, that's really expensive. Is there any way to use those costumes without spending that money? Because, like, it's the first place I check is Reddit. Reddit's a great, because you can ask Google. You can't search in Reddit because the search function of Reddit's awful, but you can search Google and search Reddit that way. See if anyone's having a conversation about that, and you go, oh yeah, they did about 7 years ago, and that will provide you the information you may or may not want to know about that particular thing. Also lets you, like, investigate like people you don't understand. Like Reddit has a conspiracy thing that's full of, like, awful people. But if you want to know what those awful people are sort of thinking, Reddit is also a great place to check. If you want to check the temperature, as it were. which you can do on Facebook as well. But like, you have to stumble upon those conversations on Facebook. You can't really search for them. And also, I would never want to, because Facebook conversations are also awful. But yeah, I use Reddit. I think people use Twitter for this as well. If you watch a film and you want to talk to people about it, like, I don't ever talk to people, but I do go, I look at the conversations. Reddit will always have like a mega thread for every single film that comes out, and you can read the conversations that go on. And because I'm always late everywhere, somebody who thinks the same thing as me will be in that conversation somewhere, and I'll be like, well, you asked the questions I would have asked, and you can get insight in those conversations. And because you're following lots of different conversations at once, you can just sort of safely ignore certain people in those conversations and be like, well, you're wrong, Mulatto. So this, and people, this bit looks toxic. I'm just going to ignore that. That's why it's at the bottom of the page. Because something weird went, where you see a load of blanks and you're like, what the hell happened to this conversation? Like, probably better off not knowing. Whereas I don't have conversations because I just don't have the energy. Hard enough having conversations in real life, let alone on the internet, but do read.
Time to switch it up.
You know what? You've demystified the feral behemoths game. They were scary when there was just like, oh my god, look at this giant dog. And it's like, yeah, now look at 8 of them.
Here.
That's the plot of the new Star Trek series, right?
Keep up with me, Hope.
Oh, cancel that. Use a potion.
Come on, Light.
I do like the SCP, but yes, that would the thing that would annoy me, and is the best thing about it, which is there's no oversight. Which means, you get a mix between really inspired stuff and the same spooky nonsense that everyone writes. And you can't have a person, like, filter that, because that's sort of against the whole vibe, the conceit of the website. That anyone can write, not the conceit of the fiction, the conceit of the how everyone writes. But yes, I mean, I technically do. I just don't write it on the internet because I've got my own stories and stuff. I've got a fictional land. Oh, give me a second. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, but like, I needed 4 people to play it, and I couldn't consistently find 4 people. So then I was like, I'll make a computer game. It's easy to get people to test computer games. But yeah, I found a website specifically for making maps for RPGs, basically. Whenever I was saying before, this picture of lightning, this is an official picture of lightning, but it wasn't. It didn't look like this. It was a part of a picture. So I found a website that said, please remove the background of this picture. It said, yes, but I've made your picture smaller because I want you to pay. And I was like, fine. I'll find a second website. Please upscale, use AI to upscale this picture bigger. Cool. And so like I had to use several websites to get the entire process of what I wanted out of that picture. And so anytime I come across any problem like that, I just go, is there a weird single-use website that no one else would use ever? Yeah, there is. I'll just use that. and that's how I solve all of my problems. Before Trustworthy, which is the name of that game, I was working on another game called Paradox Chamber. And I got a lot further on Paradox Chamber, and I really love the concept. But the idea was, all of you wake up in a facility, and you sort of have a time machine. You actually have like a supercomputer, and you can send people about to do time travel stuff for you. Like, you can change the history, but nothing in the Paradox Chamber is ever going to change. That's why it's called the Paradox Chamber, because it can change. It can survive weird things happening to history. The idea was that whenever you send someone back, let's say you go to a shop. And you're like, well, there's nothing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send somebody back earlier in history to fill the shop full of stuff, so a future version of me can pick up stuff and I'll have more resources in my game. And I had a bunch of cards with all the cool periods in history, and you could make changes on that. And there was a timeline that branched out, and you changed it. And when you changed that, it changed the rules of the game. Turns out that meant that the game was really complicated. But there was lots of... I could take pieces of that game. They were really cool ideas. Like, the one thing I would keep and make possibly into a different game was a lot of the gameplay was these cards. I made it abstract. So you picked up these cards that said, like, Einstein's super angel buster. And you make these silly sentences. Because I wanted to have Star Trek technobabble. So it could have been Heisenberg's radioactive anime feather cannon, and you'd go, I've just invented a thing, and that would send you to stuff. So and that was a really fun system, just making these silly sentences. And M. Night I don't know how to pronounce his second name. Let's just say M. Night. He has a phrase which is like a sticky quality. Like, I tested that out, and just having people just having fun making the sentences, I was like, oh, I've got something here. But like, when you tell people, oh, maybe I want my time travel game to not be about time travel anymore, people go like, no, but like, the time travel made it really slow and unwieldy, whereas the game just about making silly sentences worked great, and I probably should have just made it that instead. But I might make that a computer game, because I've still got a bunch of stuff. Oh shit, am I about to die? No, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm too ambitious, I suspect. I like scale. Yeah, one of the concepts in Paradox Chamber is the very people you're working for would change. Like, your companies and their goals would suddenly be different, and you'd have to deal with that. And there was a plot to it as well, because there was an original history, and you could find out, like, some people would somehow find ways to leave messages. I had this idea where you'd find out, like, somebody at the start of the game, different versions of the games had different ideas. So somebody at the start of the game would give you the mission, oh, you've woken up in a facility, and you've got to do this task, right? Just died, whatever, it's fine, we'll just do the fight again. And the plot is that whenever you fail, like, whenever the game always ends with the end of the world. You're trying to save the world. So you're trying to direct history, but also for some reason it just keeps ending in all these weird different ways because it's fun to write down zombie apocalypse. And oh no, now I've changed the zombie apocalypse, and now there's a meteor heading for Earth. How did that work? I don't know, but that's how it worked. But like somebody would tell you this, and at the end of your campaign, if you'd lost, you'd have to send out one last time travel thing, and essentially kidnap the next person to try again. Because they'd wake up in the paradox chamber, in a new version of the paradox chamber.
Target's a target.
And that's the only time the paradox chamber can change history.
Time to switch.
But yes, I was going to have the plot be like, the person giving you a mission isn't the actual person, because you can't send messages that way. Because like they're from entirely different histories. How do you send... Okay, apparently this fight's harder than I was expecting. How do you send messages through different histories? Will you hire an actor to just say the words? They think they're just doing an acting gig, but you're actually secretly sending a message to time travelers via like seeding little jobs for actors. Anyway, I'm gonna concentrate on doing this fight and not dying, I guess. Anyway, yes, it was quite complex. Arguably too complex. Let's put some protection on because we keep getting killed.
Here.
Good call. Follow my lead.
Yeah, it was fun to try, and I genuinely spent a lot of money, and I learned a lot about game design. Like, the earliest version of Paradox Chamber was awful. The reason it became about making silly sentences is because I realised, like, that was my system for conveying a lot of complex information all at once. That people understand sentences.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personnel, kid. The problem about me telling all this is because I'm gonna run out of subjects to talk about. I better hope I have a very eventful day tomorrow at work. Because what you don't want is you don't want me suddenly trying to explain intricate intricate unfinished stories, because that would be probably not very fun to listen to. But by golly, there are so many intricate unfinished stories set in these worlds. Thank you. I will have to do a programming stream soon. I've been doing programming, thankfully. I did take a break, but I programmed during my lunch breaks, so I've not been streaming it a lot. But they're not as visually interesting as me playing Final Fantasy 13. Because it's just like me being angry at code. I use a baby language for babies. I use Game Maker Studio, so that has its own language. Don't go up the lift, John. It's a very, it's a very forgiving language. It's all programming, and I know I shouldn't disparage it, but yeah, the idea of GML is it uses about 10% of the normal amount of words it would take.
And found something worse.
We can't just leave.
So if you forget a semicolon, the program will go, "Oh, you probably meant to end that sentence there. I'll just assume you meant to do that." In ways that other coding languages don't do.
How can I explain?
You put a number down, it goes, it's probably an integer. You didn't tell me it was an integer, but it's a number, and it doesn't have a... It's probably an integer.
Focus on your ultimate goal and shut out everything else.
Are they saying true or false? Probably a Boolean.
Your mind.
I'm just going to assume it's a Boolean.
Instinct.
It's pretty chill language. But every single person who teaches you goes like, yeah, but define your things anyway, just in case.
Cripple you.
Strategy. Good. I'll take anything to help me get through this. I'll call it Operation Nora.
Nora.
No.
My mother's name.
Your revenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I know getting revenge on him won't bring her back. I know that.
He knows that.
But sorry won't cut it.
Snow didn't kill your mother. The Sanctum did.
Whose side are you on?
The side of truth.
Justice and the American dream?
Fine. I'll fight the Sanctum with you. I'll learn to survive.
Learn to survive! Okay, it is 3 a.m. and somebody does live above me.
How can you judge someone else when you know that you're the same? Even I have dark secrets. Secrets I'd rather forget.
Cosplay that I don't want anyone to see. Right. Are we still in chapter 5? We are definitely still in chapter 5, aren't we? I'm just going to quickly go back. I was going to say Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not right. That's a card game. I said before, I once complained about the person upstairs because I thought they were causing loads of noise and it was coming from somewhere else and it was really obvious it wasn't him. So yeah, I really don't want to cause noise. I know it doesn't travel upwards, but I do make sure. I definitely would feel so horribly guilty if I ever did wake him up because he's like works at a hospital and he's got an important job.
Let's get this over with.
And he lives in the same flats as me, so he obviously doesn't get paid that much.
Time to switch it up. Follow my lead.
And he's very nice in a way that I'm not. I'm pleasant, but I'm not a nice person. No, I'm not a friendly person, I guess I should say. Nice is sort of ruined as a word. You know, I'm a... what's the word? Not a hobbit. I mean, basically I'm a hobbit. Like a shut-in person. What's the word? Hermit is... yeah.
Time to switch it up.
Yeah. I'm always careful because, again, the internet sort of ruined the word nice. The heck is that? It's a bike. A velocycle.
Time to switch it up.
It's out of habit, I just avoid that particular phrase.
Keep up with me, Hope.
Or at least I try to anyway. I'm pleasant enough. I'm pleasanter on the internet than I am in real life. Oh yeah, nice guy is a ruined phrase.
Time to switch it up.
Because how do I put this delicately? People who do terrible things justify it by saying that they were very nice people. No, that's not accurate. The phrase. Yes, yeah, like. It's not a particular thing I might really want to get to on stream outside of an outside reference.
Follow my lead.
Oh crap! That again.
And so it ends.
That's how my story ends here. Okay, maybe I should use Odin more often. Okay, I may have to like consider ending the stream. I'm surely close to the end of the chapter. Like this, I don't want to use Odin because as soon as I do, a boss will pop up. These might be new people. Yeah, they probably are, so I should probably scan them. Even though it's like, they're people.
Target's a target.
Come on, Light.
Time to switch it up.
Yeah.
Stay down. Follow my lead.
I've had fun, but this chapter does not need to be this long.
Thanks.
If somebody came on to the stream when I first started, and they're like, yeah, I got the chapter 10. And yeah, you know what? That was an achievement, because it's bloody long. It took ages to get there. This feels like an end, doesn't it? Ah, there's a shop. There's a... Well, it's a save point. Okay, let's have a look at the data log. So, there's how long chapter 1 was. Chapter 2, about the same size. Chapter 3 was really short. Chapter 4, a bit longer. Oh my word, really? I mean, but maybe they've been longer periods between them. I'll tell you what. The next time I get an event data log, because like I've got Operation Nora here, which means a cutscene just happened. Next time I get one of those, I'll end the stream, because so even if it's not the end of the chapter.
This'll be interesting. Time to switch it up. Follow my lead.
Lightning? Here.
Time to switch it up. Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up.
Oh, crap. Don't die, John, otherwise you'll never get to the next bit.
And so it ends.
I was actually paying attention. Like, I've got no excuse that time.
Keep your mind on the battle.
Yeah, this is going to be better than the 6-hour stream where I played Cuphead. It's a 3-hour stream, sorry. Okay, we'll put shields on this time. Yeah, you should only be able to move in right angles.
Keep up with me, Hope.
Here.
Time to switch it up. Keep up with me, Hope.
Oh, I'm almost out of potions.
Follow my lead.
Why aren't you putting protect on us? Okay, I should probably have killed the humans first.
Keep up with me, Hope. Follow my lead.
Come on, Light.
Right, I'm gonna start then.
Time to switch it up.
Yeah, that's why I never get a car. Because, like, I'm clumsy as it without a car. I don't need, like a bloody bulk of metal. I don't want that sort of responsibility. If I crash my bike, the only person I hurt is me. If I crash a car, you know, could be devastating. Man, I was bad at that fight. That clearly final fight, and we're not going to have any more. It's clearly the end. Look.
I have this feeling something bad's about to
No,
happen.
nothing bad's gonna happen. You mean like a save point and then we get to go to sleep? Yeah, I think... Why do I get the feeling there's a save point and then I get to go to sleep? Yeah, I feel the same thing, Hope.
We're moving. What's going on?
I think it's a lift. Okay. I found a giant onion. I think this is a situation that calls for Odin.
This is it. Operation Nora.
Onion. Okay. Right, before we get out Odin,
Follow my lead.
I would like it if you put buffs on, please. I can, Libra. I believe I've got 4.
Time to switch it up.
Here.
Keep up with me, Hope.
It's Aster Protoflorian.
Come on, Light.
I need you to heal yourself. Is there anything else we need in our synergy? Yeah, he's putting all... See, next to our names, he's buffing us, which is what I want him to do. Not sure why he didn't do that in the bike, but... Okay, he's done it enough now.
Good call.
Here.
So I'm gonna wait for it to be staggered before I get out Odin. Okay, no, it really doesn't want to be staggered.
Time to switch it up.
Probably because it really wants me to use Odin. We'll see if we can get it higher, but I don't think our stagger bar is moving. We have to heal now.
Here.
Keep up with me, Hope.
Oh, I need a Gestalt meter to turn up? No, I can just use them whenever I like. That's something else. Oh no, I used the TP! Ah, damn it. Oh, but I wanted to use Odin. Like there's no reach. Oh, there is a retry button. Okay. More like Nodin. I like your thinking. Right, I won't use Libra this time. Right. I don't know why all fights don't have a retry button, but cool. I'm glad it gave me that option. Nice, good game. Can I skip this? No, I can't. Press the start button. Yeah, so I will save after this boss fight, even if it doesn't say the chapter's changed. Onion. So we've got 3 buffs we want on everyone. Yeah, I've only got 3 technical points right now.
Here.
But as soon as he's put all 3 buffs on, both of us,
Keep up with me.
so I have to heal, obviously.
Time to switch it up.
Come on, Light.
Good call.
Here.
Keep up with me, Hope.
It's a technical feat. Hang on, why did he put that one on? Right. Techniques. Yeah, I'll summon Odin, thanks.
Odin.
Odin, more like Godin, like, as in that onion is going to die.
Cut us a path.
Okay. You don't have to go straight into that mode, and Odin will do big fight, but you risk losing him before that, and you know, taking damage. Okay, I'll go into Gestalt mode now.
We do this together.
It's time to get on my horse. No more horsing around.
Let's ride.
Yeah! Stormblade,
Shake the ground.
Lightning Strike, Thunder Gale, Thunderfall, Stormblade, Lightning Strike, Thunder, and Zantetsuken.
The storm is here.
And look at its stagger meter. It's almost there. Just have to make sure we don't lose that.
Until next time.
Yeah, that's what I say at the end of streams. She knew. Okay, slash and go. No, it went immediately down. Fuck game. Oh, I should have made sure I was on that thing.
Come on, Light.
Time to switch it up. Follow my lead. Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up.
Alright, if I didn't know it was going to do that, so had I been thinking, like, fucking hell.
Keep up.
I would love a heal, Hope.
Come on, Light.
Time to switch it up.
Oh, fuck, I lost it all. God, you lose it so fast if you're not on it. Like a carb on it, but I'll get him.
Keep up with me, Hope.
Shit, I have no potions. Oof, okay.
I'm so
This is cool. I don't mind that I'm doing poorly because we're going to do better. But I do wish I bought more potions. That might screw me over. Anyway, we shouldn't have used Odin until it was staggered. Also appreciate Udon chat going on above me. As soon as I've defeated this monster, I'll be Udon with this game for the night. Oh shit, it's almost 4 AM. No, it's early. It's super early. I mean, technically it's super early, but Odin's a place in no, I can't bother to do that. Doesn't matter. Bloodborne was what I was going to say. It is, but like, let's just concentrate on Pokeballs. Yes, so I let my
Time to switch it up.
defenses fall off, and that probably did not help. So we're not worrying about the stagger meter just yet. We're only worrying about all the buffs. And making sure we're sufficiently healed. I will do this just the once. Quickly, quickly, quickly.
Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up. Keep up with me, Hope. Follow my
Okay,
lead.
so now we have full buffs, apparently. Have to heal, of course. He's almost staggered.
Keep up with me, Hope. Time to switch it up. Keep up with me, Hope.
Now we use Odin.
Odin.
Yeah, it's fine. I've done. I'll sleep when I come home from work.
Cut us a path.
Oh, you can paradigm shift while in this mode. I did not realize that. Now let's go into Kushta.
We do this together.
Oh, I can't, but I mean, that's why I'm awake at 4 AM, because I can't sleep. If I was tired, I would have stopped the stream.
Let's ride.
I have a bad time actually sleeping.
Charge. The storm is here.
Okay, still staggered. Oof, I left that until the very last second. 681%. Hopefully that's helped.
Next time.
Farewell, Horsey. Thank you for helping. Effluence. Yeah, that word there. Let's put our protections back on.
Follow my lead. Time to switch
Okay,
it
he's
up.
a little angrier now, isn't he? Oh, fuck.
Here.
Keep up with me, Hope. Good call. Follow my lead.
To be fair, I would have tried to get to sleep about 2 hours ago, but I just wanted to finish the chapter. And I was talking. But yeah, I'll probably pay for it in a couple days.
light. Here.
Time to switch it up.
A little bit confused about why this fight needed to take so long.
Come on, light.
Oh, it's got buffs, and I don't have like a debuff.
Follow my lead.
I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong, but like, I can't figure out a way of doing more damage to it.
Good call.
Okay, I managed to get a technical point from somewhere. Maybe I can get enough during this fight that I can summon Odin again.
Here. Come on, light.
Time to switch it up.
I didn't need to use that potion, I got nervous.
Keep up with me, Hope. Follow my lead. Time to switch it up.
So one thing I don't have is double healing, and double healing could potentially come in handy.
Just hang on. Keep up with me, Hope.
Oh fuck, it was full and it went down. So the higher it is, the faster it goes down, it seems.
Time to switch it up.
We cured her mid-air, that was cool.
Follow my lead. Time to switch it up.
I'll give it this, it's nerve-wracking.
Come on, light.
Keep up with me, Hope. Follow my lead.
Here.
Perfect. 3 stars? I reckon. 6 stars. More like. I've expanded my Christerium. I've always wanted to do that. Cross that off the bucket list. Yeah, 10 stars.
Nora, stage 1 complete.
A lot of people don't like Hope because he's a teenager. It's like, but he's a teenager. How else do you expect him to act in this situation? This is probably the most. If this happened to me, it'd be the most stressful thing that happened in my life. Like, bloody hell! Like, for Hope. It was... Anyway, yes. Obviously, we're not gonna save because the first thing we want to do is buy some potions before I forget. Oh, but there's more stuff in Magical Moments. And now I'm going to save. So yeah, I will forgive him very easily forgive him being a bit of a stroppy teenager when like the entire government is after him and killed his mum like what, literally hours earlier. Also, there's like weird business with a god making him a weird mission slave. Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. It'd be stressful for like a literal soldier, which like it's a bit weird that they're portraying her as like, yeah, I'm a grizzled veteran. How old is she? She's 21. Like, but like, you know, this is Final Fantasy where being a 35 means you're an old man. But anyway, speaking of old man, I need to get my old man sleep. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. And for listening. Blimey, this was 5.5 hours. Although, like, that's also like the average length of all my Elden Ring streams. But I spoke less during the Elden Ring because that was a harder game. Anyway, yes, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Where's my snail? Where's Rupert, the snail? There was a secret mini. There's so many I didn't even see you. Tiny. The tiniest, tiny coop. You could only keep like the baby chickens like that dude has. You know, the chocobo. I've got to go. Stop talking, John. John, stop talking. You got to. The noise has to stop now. Rupert's doing another lap. It's no more noise. John, you must sleep now. Farewell. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. I'm waiting for the snail to leave.